here's a number that should bother you. The average person earning a perfectly good income, enough to cover rent, bills, groceries, maybe even a vacation, once a year, still ends every single month with close to nothing left over. Not because they're bad with money, not because they're lazy, but because almost every system around them was quietly built to keep it that way. Your bank wants you to keep a balance, not grow one. Your credit card company wants you paying minimums for a decade, not paying off the balance next month. Marketing wants your lifestyle to expand the second your paycheck does. None of these are conspiracy theories. They're just business models. And if you don't understand them, you will optimize your entire financial life around losing. Today, I'm walking through 5 of these traps. The ones that look like personal failures, but are actually structural by design. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why just budget better was never the real fix. Quick story to set the stage. A few years ago, I was earning what most people would call good money, bills paid, lifestyle comfortable, and yet every few months, one unexpected expense, a repair, a bill, a flight, would wipe out whatever buffer I thought I had, and I'd be right back to zero. For a long time, I assumed the problem was me, not disciplined enough, not earning enough. The usual story we tell ourselves. But when I actually pulled the data on my own spending, and I mean really pulled it, 12 months of statements, line by line, a different picture showed up. The problem wasn't a lack of discipline. It was that every part of the system I was operating in was quietly engineered to extract money from exactly the kind of behavior I didn't even know I had. So let's break down the 5 traps, one at a time. Because once you can see the mechanism, it stops working on you. The first trap is the simplest, and it's the foundation every other trap is built on top of. Modern spending is engineered to be invisible. Think about how money actually leaves your account today. A tap, a saved card, a subscription that renews itself without a single notification. You'd actually notice. Compare that to 30 years ago, when spending money meant physically handing over cash and watching your wallet get thinner. That friction used to do half the budgeting work for you, automatically. It's gone now, on purpose. Every checkout flow you encounter has been A/B tested by people whose entire job is reducing the number of seconds between "I want this" and "I bought this." That's not an accusation. It's just literally what modern commerce optimizes for. Less friction, more transactions. The side effect is that you lose the ability to feel your own spending in real time. So when I actually tracked every dollar for 30 days, no budgeting yet, just tracking, the gap between what I assumed and what was real was enormous. Subscriptions that had quietly renewed for months, delivery fees that stacked up looked like a second rent payment, small $5 purchases that multiplied by 30 days were functioning like a couple $100s a month I'd never accounted for. Here's the mechanism in plain terms. You cannot out-discipline a system specifically engineered to bypass your awareness. The fix isn't willpower. It's forcing visibility back into a system designed to remove it, tracking every expense, for real, for at least one full month, before you try to fix anything else. The second trap is the one nobody feels happening, because it disguises itself as success. Every time income rises, a raise, a bonus, a new job, lifestyle quietly rises to match it. Nicer apartment, newer car, more frequent takeout. None of these decisions look reckless in isolation. Each one feels earned. That's exactly what makes the trap effective. It never asks you to make one big bad decision. It just asks for 100 small, reasonable ones, spread out over years. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's not an accident. Of human psychology, it's actively reinforced by an entire advertising economy whose business model depends on your spending rising in lockstep with your earning. The moment your income goes up, you become a more valuable target for exactly that kind of marketing. Bigger income, bigger ads, bigger temptation, same 0% savings rate. You can double someone's salary, and without intervention, their savings rate barely moves because the lifestyle absorbed the entire increase. The countermeasure is mechanical, not motivational. Whenever income increases, the rule is simple. At least half of every increase gets automatically diverted into savings or investing before it ever touches a checking account that lifestyle creep can reach. The other half, enjoy it. But the trap only works if your lifestyle has access to 100% of every raise. Cut that off, and the trap loses its grip, automatically, without requiring daily willpower. Trap number 3 is where the first two traps collide and turn into actual debt. If you're spending invisibly, and your lifestyle has already absorbed your income, then you have zero buffer when something unexpected happens. And something unexpected always happens. A car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance. These aren't rare disasters. They're statistically guaranteed, recurring features of normal life. Yet most people are financially set up as if they'll never happen. This is exactly the gap credit card companies are built to fill. No emergency fund means every surprise expense becomes a balance on a card with double-digit interest, marketed to you in the exact moment you're most stressed and least likely to read the fine print. That's not bad luck. That's the business model meeting an undefended gap, precisely when you're most vulnerable. The fix is the much-repeated, rarely explained advice. Build a buffer, 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, sitting somewhere safe and boring. But understand why it works. It's not about getting rich. It's about removing the exact vulnerability the credit system is designed to monetize. Once that buffer exists, surprise expenses stop being financial emergencies and just become mildly annoying line items. The trap needs you exposed. The fund removes the exposure. Start small if you need to. Even a few $100s breaks the cycle for most small emergencies. Then build toward 1 month of expenses, then 3, then 6. The number matters less than closing the gap the system is waiting to exploit. Trap number 4 is the quiet one. The one that doesn't feel like a mistake at all, which is exactly why almost nobody catches it. Once people build up some savings, they often stop there, feeling responsible. The money sits in a basic account, technically safe, earning next to nothing. Here's what that framing leaves out. Prices for everything. Rent, food, basically all of it. Rise every single year. So that safe pile of cash isn't actually staying the same. It's losing real value every year, quietly, with no dramatic moment to alert you to it. This is the part of the economy that almost nobody narrates clearly. Doing nothing with your money isn't a neutral choice. It's a guaranteed slow loss, dressed up as caution. Meanwhile, money that's actually invested, left alone, ideally for years, riding out the inevitable, short-term ups and downs, has historically grown well ahead of that. Creeping cost of living, not guaranteed, not risk-free, and definitely not something to treat casually, but sitting entirely in cash isn't the safe option people assume it is. It's just a slower, less visible kind of risk. To be clear, this isn't financial advice for your specific situation. What's right depends on your goals, timeline, and risk tolerance. But the broader mechanism matters. Keep your near-term emergency money safe and liquid. But money you won't touch for 5, 10, 20 years sitting completely idle isn't caution. It's a silent, guaranteed transfer of value away from you, year after year, to inflation. The single biggest unlock isn't picking the perfect investment. It's simply not leaving long-term money parked somewhere. It's structurally guaranteed to shrink in real terms. The fifth trap is the most explicit one, and arguably the most deliberately engineered: minimum payments. Every credit card statement is designed around one specific number, displayed far more prominently than the actual balance. The minimum payment due. It looks manageable. It looks responsible. It is neither. That number exists to keep your balance alive for as long as mathematically possible, because every extra month it survives is more interest collected. Paying only the minimum on a high-interest balance can mean paying back 2 or 3 times what you originally borrowed and can stretch repayment out for a decade or more on what started as a fairly ordinary balance. This isn't a flaw in the system. This is the system, working exactly as intended. The low minimum isn't a courtesy. It's the entire revenue model. The countermeasure is to stop interacting with debt the way it's designed to be interacted with. List every balance, every rate, every minimum, in one place where the full picture is visible, instead of getting separately ambushed by each statement. Then pick an actual payoff strategy. Smallest balance first for momentum, called the snowball method, or highest interest rate first to minimize total cost, called the avalanche method. Either beats minimum payments by an enormous margin, and critically, stop adding new charges while paying down old ones, or the same gap that created the debt in the first place just quietly refills it the moment you exhale, step back, and the pattern across all 5 traps is the same. Each one looks like a personal failing. Bad spending, bad discipline, bad luck. But each one is actually a gap in a system, sitting there, waiting for ordinary behavior to fall into it. That reframing matters, because I have no willpower is a much harder problem to solve than this specific mechanism is designed to extract money from this specific blind spot. One feels like a character flaw. The other is just an engineering problem. And engineering problems have fixes. Track the invisible spending, cap the lifestyle creep, close the emergency gap, stop letting long-term money sit idle, kill debt with an actual strategy instead of a minimum payment. None of these require being smarter, richer, or more disciplined than anyone else. They just require seeing the mechanism clearly enough that it stops working on you by default. That's the breakdown. 5 traps, all hiding in plain sight, all dressed up as personal mistakes when they're really just business models meeting blind spots. If this connected some dots for you, subscribe, because next week's video goes deeper into insert next topic, and it builds directly on trap number 4 from today. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 you didn't realize was happening to you. I read everyone. See you in the next one.